boldness has magic in it. I was one of those children, and I am happy to say that the plan worked. When Revive the Roots first began, before a spade was sunk into this black earth, I tried to explain to people that we were working with the Smithfield Land Trust to lease us a 21-acre farm and farmhouse, and everyone told me it was impossible. But I said to myself then what I will tell all of you now: never let anyone tell you there is something you cannot do. As we are all painfully aware, the world is facing serious, large-scale problems right now. Problems so big that it can be difficult to come up with practical solutions that could have a reasonable chance at success. But the solution, as always, is action. Sorry. Maori Commons is a workshop to equip future activists with the tools and knowledge that they need to begin to pursue their personal destiny for world betterment, whatever that may be. I believe that the difficulties of our times, though tragic, have produced indirect positive results. Namely, that they have highlighted the necessity of places like this to the development of a future that still has magic in it. The global pandemic has highlighted the importance of local resilience. Our fragile global ecosystem has reignited our need for a connection to the natural world. And the direness of these straits has shown us that if we are to succeed, we must work together. It's hard times like these when I look to the wisdom of Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, God.
While trapped in the mines of Moria, Frodo says to Gandalf, "I wish the ring had never come to me. I wish none of this had happened." And Gandalf replies, "So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us."
All right. Woo!
Leading up to today, I couldn't shake this one thought, that of the unlikeliness of forest gardens. A lot of us here have read the permaculture books and understand the benefits of regenerative, sustainable agriculture. But if it's so wonderful, why don't we see them everywhere? There are two obstacles to explain this. The first obstacle is that, in addition to the more practical elements like the difficulty of acquiring land with no capital whatsoever, they take a lot of effort and resources to create while providing minimal to no economic returns for the first 10 years. But what dawned on me the other day is that that is actually the easier of the two problems to overcome. The second and greater obstacle is that of preserving the land on which the garden stands for long enough for the forest garden to establish and thrive. Thousands of factors, the very power and entropy of civilization itself, works constantly to try and bulldoze this land and turn it into condos. It is only by the efforts of small groups of people like you who hold back this machine in order to let this garden continue. Right now, Revive the Roots is at a critical juncture in its quest for continuance, and it will take one last big push to ensure that this land can continue to serve the community in perpetuity. I would now like to introduce you to the last member of Revive the Roots, the Maori House. I haven't looked in its direction all night, but it is essential. That house is the command center for this social experiment, and without it, much of the magic you see here today would not be possible. This is Revive the Roots hopes to purchase the Mary Maori House so it can continue to be a public asset to our town. This difficulty reminds me of what Sam said to Frodo after the close encounter with the Nazgul at Osgiliath. Frodo says to Sam, "I can't do this, Sam." And Sam replies, "I know, it's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here, but we are." It's like the great stories, Mr. Frodo, the ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you don't want to know the end, because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing, this shadow. The darkness must pass. A new day will come. And when the sun comes, it will shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you, the ones that really meant something. I know now Folks in these stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going because they were holding on to something. And then Frodo says, "But what were we holding on to, Sam?" And Sam says that there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo. And it's worth fighting for. Through community, we can accomplish more than any single person can achieve in a lifetime. Maori Commons are a conduit and workshop for the practical application of local activism that allows anyone to fight for the future that they want to see manifested. Nothing has inspired me more than the way that this community has taken this project on as their own destiny. This is too wonderful a thing to end. The show must go on.
Yes, yes.
It has been an honor and a privilege to know that I have played a small part in initiating this project and providing all of you with an opportunity to fight for the preservation of our world. And while I may have helped start this adventure, it is in your hands now, and it will be up to all of you to finish it. I truly believe that we are all really one thing. Taoists call it the illusion of separation, and because of this, it is an inherently noble quest to dedicate yourself to the betterment of the greater whole. So for everyone who got us to where we are today, for all of you who made today possible, and for all who will carry the torch on to eternity, I say to you now what Aragorn said to the hobbits at the coronation of the King of Gondor and the ramparts of Minas Tirith. My friends, you bow to no one. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. This is Hannah.